Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Today is the start of a reading vlog where I'm going to be reading some spooky or mysterious books that I have for review from NetGalley. So it is a Tuesday. Today and tomorrow my kids are physically in school, and so I have more time than I usually do available to me. I need to get some videos filmed, but I also need to get some books done for review. So I thought, why don't we just put these together and use it as an opportunity to get through some of my ARCs and make content at the same time. Hello guys, Editing Bethany here. I just wanted to come on and say a couple of things because I realized I didn't maybe explain this super well in the video. This is not usually how I do my reading. Usually it's fit around a lot of the other work that I'm doing. I don't usually take almost two entire days just to do like a reading vlog. That is unusual. I was doing it specifically for this video and also because I have so many books that I wanted to get to. It was kind of like a mixed thing. Additionally, we do have a babysitter part-time every week with our kids, and that allows me to get a lot of things done. And I kind of want to say this mostly because I could imagine people being like, oh wow, it must like be nice to have childcare so you can just like do some reading. And like a couple of things about that. Number one, typically that is not what I'm using that time for. In this case, it was for the vlog. But also number two, this is kind of part of my job. I felt like I need to give some kind of an explanation or disclaimer. Should I need to? Maybe not, but you know what? We're going to talk about it. I do want to recognize also that, yeah, absolutely, there is some level of privilege in being able to do something like this at all. And part of it, honestly, is because I have a spouse who has an income that takes care of most of our family's expenses. So I'm therefore able to do more creative things than I otherwise might, and that's not a situation everybody's in. And I do think that's important to talk about, especially on YouTube, on BookTube, because the reality is because it's not infrequent that people who are able to dedicate a lot of time to this kind of work have a partner who is taking care of a lot of expenses or have a relatively flexible day job that also allows them to do that. So, you know, something to talk about. So here's the plan. I am currently 30% of the way into an ARC that fits the bill for this somewhat. Then I have a few other ARCs and I have one audio ARC from NetGalley, all of which are in this kind of mystery / thriller or spooky category. So we're going to see what I can get through in the next couple of days. I'll use the audiobook as a way of kind of breaking it up when I need to take a break from doing the ebooks. First, I still need to get ready for the day. I'm kind of dressed, but I have not put any makeup on yet, which is fine. Okay, so I am currently 30% of the way into The Conductors by Nicole Glover, which, to be honest, I'm having kind of mixed feelings about. I really love the concept and I like a lot of what she's doing in it, but it does have some issues for me in terms of the writing and the pacing. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but I want to keep reading and see where it goes. The idea is pretty cool. It's set in post-Civil War Philadelphia and it follows a Black woman and her husband who are kind of like amateur detectives in their community, and they also have magic. So it's like a historical urban fantasy story, which I think is cool. It's very interesting. It's also reimagining some of the stuff surrounding the Civil War and things surrounding slavery and oppression, but with this magical element built into it as well. And I am seeing a lot of that, a lot of her addressing things in the story of like microaggressions and oppression that occurred even after the end of slavery. There's a lot that I like about it, but it's very slow paced. There's a lot of extra scenes and extra content that's just unnecessary and I think kind of drags down the pace of it. It is a debut though, so it's one where depending on how I feel about it as I get further into the book, I might be interested in trying another book from her in the series, like maybe her second or third book, and see if the pacing picks up. But really interesting concept. So that is one of the things that I'm going to be continuing to read on this vlog, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Then on audio for review, I have The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. And this one is like an adult thriller. You know what? Let me look it up. So this one is an adult mystery thriller that's coming out in April. Most of what I'm reading right now is March arcs, but because I have this one on audio and I think I might need an audiobook occasionally, like if I need to go run errands or I just need to like break stuff up in the next couple of days, this is going to be a good one to go to. So I'm going to get started on it. So what's interesting about this one is it has a sister relationship in it. There's a younger sister who is a social worker and an older sister who has manic episodes, and the sisters have become distant because of some of this, but then the older sister ends up found dead in a pool and drowned, and I think there's some kind of a mystery around that, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. We'll see. So that's one of the other things that's on the docket for this week, and maybe this will go beyond a couple of days. We'll see how it goes, but my main plan is to work on this for the couple of days my kids are in school. And we'll see. Okay, then there's two other e-arcs that I would be picking up next that I want to try to get to in this vlog. The first one is Our Last Echoes by Kate Alice Marshall. This one looks really interesting. It's a March release. That's a YA thriller, and this one I think was pitched as Kara Thomas meets Twin Peaks. So I think it has like a horror element to it, which I am here for, and Twin Peaks is like bizarre, weird horror, and it sounds really interesting. I've also heard good things about an earlier book by Kate Alice Marshall that I haven't yet read, so I'm really excited to give this one a try. Let me look it up and see. I don't know the exact premise. It says it's a supernatural thriller about a girl's hunt for the truth about her mother's disappearance. Sounds very interesting. I am super here for it. And then the final book that I want to get to is another adult title. This is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. It has just recently been translated into English. I'm not sure what language this was originally in. So I think this was originally published in German, and it's more of a horror with thriller elements to it that looks very interesting. I think I originally heard about this on Rachel from Shades of Orange booktube channel, which is what made me request it. It says the Blair Witch Project meets Midsummer in this brilliantly disturbing thriller from Camilla Sten, an electrifying new voice in suspense. So this looks really interesting. It's about a documentary filmmaker who's obsessed with this weird village, vanishing residents of an old mining town dubbed the Lost Village. In 1959, her grandmother's whole family disappeared from it, and like weird things happen, and she's going to investigate and make a film. It sounds really interesting. So I am going to read these. What do I want to say about spoilers? So I think I'm going to say this vlog is probably going to be pretty spoiler free. I'm going to try not to talk about any specific spoilers. If I do have something that I just really feel like I need to talk about that's spoilery, I'll put a spoiler warning so that you guys know it's coming. Okay, so those are the 4 books that I want to read this week. And hopefully this is fun. Hopefully I don't get like burnt out on creepy books, but I have some good romances that I can pick up afterwards if it becomes too much. So we have The Conductors by Nicole Glover, which I'm again like 30% of the way through already. The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. Our Last Echoes by Kate Alice Marshall, and The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. Okay, so yeah, very exciting. It is 11 o'clock right now. I'm going to quickly put a little bit of makeup on, and I was also in the middle of watching Ashley from Bookish Realms wrap up, so I'm gonna do that and then do some reading. I need to run a couple of errands later in the day, so I'll probably start my audiobook of The Drowning Kind whenever I'm ready to go do that, and see how quickly I can finish up The Conductors and let you guys know how it goes. Check back later.
It was very interesting seeing him have this attraction to a Black woman, and all throughout the book, like I personally am a lot of bias towards like believe women when they come forward because it's already hard enough to talk about it, but I do understand I think what the author may have been trying to do.
Okay, so makeup is on. It is 12:30, so I'm gonna take a break and eat some lunch, but I am at 51% of the way into The Conductors, and I'm continuing to have the same issues with it I had earlier. There will occasionally be a scene that's really interesting that is linked to the mystery part of it, but then there just feels like a lot of filler, a lot of unnecessary scenes that would be fine if this was a different genre of book, but if you're trying to make this like a mystery fantasy, it's very slow and it makes it really kind of dull and messy. So yeah, it's a bummer because I think the idea is really great and there's something there. There's definitely scenes that are interesting. I'm liking the fact that the main character and her husband have this marriage of convenience that is you know, on its way to maybe developing into something more. Like there's elements that are great, but there's too much going on. There's too many scenes that we don't need. There's too much detail, too many conversations. It loses track of like what we're trying to do, and it just really slows down the pace, which isn't what you want for this genre of books. So yeah, gonna grab some lunch, keep reading, and then probably go out and do some errands this afternoon because like I'm ready to get up and move around a little bit. Yeah, I'll update you guys some more later. Hey guys, so it is 2:30. I am currently 75% of the way through the e-arc, and it looks like I probably have an hour and 20 minutes left in reading that. But I'm about ready to take a break, maybe get some coffee, run a couple errands. My kids just got back home from school, but we have a babysitter with them through the rest of the afternoon, so I still have time. So I'm gonna pause on the Conductors, start my audiobook of The Drowning Kind while I go run errands and grab coffee for a little bit, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Update on the Conductors. I think it's interesting because later in the book, like around 60% or so, there start being more scenes that are really interesting and exciting and have kind of the mystery vibe that I was looking for with it. So again, there's something there. And when you get those parts of the story, I really like them. Liking some of the side characters. There's a lot to like, but it's too long. I think if this book was like 100 pages shorter and had really been condensed down to things that are more relevant to the plot that we're wanting to get, that kept the pace up, this would have just been a lot better. And you know, some of that might come with time. So I would probably be open to trying the second book in the series and see how that is and if things improve, because I think the ideas here are really interesting. So that said, I am going to get ready to head out, run some errands, get some coffee, and then I think I have some packages that arrived today, including a couple of pre-orders, so maybe we'll do an unboxing later. Add some excitement to the vlog. Hey guys, okay, so it is just after 5 o'clock and I am about 20% of the way through the audiobook of The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. And so far, I'm really into it. It's very interesting, super creepy. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. It does deal with some more sensitive issues, so I'm kind of curious to see how it handles those things. One thing that I didn't know that I think is interesting is it's actually following two main characters in different time periods, but everything is surrounding these springs that are like maybe haunted, maybe magical, something like weird stuff has happened surrounding them. So our first character that we meet is a modern woman, and we get her in the modern day, and we also get flashbacks to her childhood. She's the one who is the younger sister. Her older sister has bipolar disorder and then is found drowned in these springs that had fed into a swimming pool in the estate that their grandmother owned, okay? And so there's that plus some weird stuff that happened when they were kids. But then we have another perspective that's in 1929, following a woman who got married later in life for that time period. So in her 30s, she's in her late 30s now, and her husband really wants a child. She wants a child, but she hasn't been able to get pregnant. And they go to this hotel with these healing springs, and like, even though he doesn't say it, it seems like probably her husband is hoping that maybe there will be magical things that will help her conceive. Yeah, so it's really interesting. This is, I will not say, as we go forward, I won't say any more that could be spoilery or things about what ends up happening, but just maybe more my reaction to it, I think will be my plan, unless there's something that I just like really have to talk about, and then I'll put a spoiler warning. But yeah, so far I'm really into it. It's very interesting. So next I'm gonna go back to my e-arc of the Conductors. I'm hoping I can finish that pretty quickly and then pick up another one of the e-arcs tonight. And then while I have you on here, I did have a package come in the mail. This is, I think, 2 pre-orders. So let's share. Yes, they're both romances, so a little different from what we're talking about today, but things I'm really excited for. First up, this has been a long time coming. We have Wild Rain by Beverly Jenkins. Yay, it's so pretty. I'm excited. So Rain is the main character in this, and she is the sister of the hero from Tempest, which was one of my favorite romances of last year, so I'm really excited for this. I love Beverly Jenkins' historical romance. I've had this pre-ordered for a while. It got pushed back. It came in. And then the other one is Seducing His Secret Wife by Robin Covington. And this I'm excited about because, I don't know, like when this video goes up. Okay, I won't say anything because I don't know yet if when this video goes up, the announcement video will have gone up yet. But Robin Covington is a Native American romance author, and there are plans for this book, so yay! All right, so I'm going to dive back into the Conductors and finish up that book and let you guys know how it goes. Hello. So I just finished reading the Conductors, and yeah, like I think the later part of the book is really pretty good. I liked the conclusion. I liked how it wrapped up. I think it's interesting. I really enjoy the characters. I just think it needed to be shorter and more concise and more focused. So I'm landing somewhere in a 3.5 star range, but I would be interested in trying the next book in the series, which I think is a success. I think solving the murder mystery elements was interesting. I liked the magic edition, and I think there's something there, and I'm curious to see where the series is going to go. So next, my plan is to start reading Our Last Echoes by Kate Alice Marshall. That'll be my next ebook. I'm going to start on that, and I might read a bit tonight. I also have a Bachelor episode I could watch, so we shall see. But I'm at least going to get some more reading done on the second arc tonight. I do have to run to the grocery store for a few things. It's getting a little late, so I might do that now and listen to a little more of my audiobook while I do that. We'll see how it goes. Oh my goodness, you guys, this book is so creepy. I mean, it's really good, and I'm flying through it. I'm at like 43%, and I'm gonna have to stop at some point soon, probably, to go to bed, but like, if it was a movie, I would be terrified. It's really interesting and really cool. It's got like supernatural, paranormal, almost verging on like sci-fi-ish elements to it. I'm not gonna say much because I don't want to like spoil things, but so many like weird, creepy things. The Twin Peaks comparison is a good one. Yeah, I'm into it. So yeah, it's good. Good morning. So I just finished Our Last Echoes. I read a lot of it last night. I got to like 65%, and then I finished it this morning. Oh man. Okay, it is weird and trippy, but I liked it a lot, and yeah, I thought it was really, really good. It's definitely like the Kara Thomas mystery element meets weird Twin Peaks supernatural stuff and almost some like X-Files vibes sometimes. It is very wild. It's one of those ones where I can't like say too much about it because you don't want to spoil anything, and it's something to be experienced, but I'll say it definitely is interesting, and I think maybe not what I was expecting, and it kind of explains things too. So like if you're looking for a story that is going to leave everything really vague and isn't going to have some level of like explanation sort of, or exploration of what's behind things, this isn't going to be it, because it does do those things. Yeah, I would call this horror. It has a lot of horror elements to it, and like pretty creepy scenes and like gross stuff happening sometimes, but I was super into it. The other thing that I thought was kind of cool is it's done in a mixed media format. So some of it is your sort of typical narrative, but it also has scripts from videos of things happening, which is really interesting, and like I think a couple journal entries. It's so good and so weird. And it's one of those books too where it completes a story arc, but the way it ends, if she wanted to write a second book, she totally could, and I would read it. Anyway, I was into it. It's one of those things, though, it's going to depend on what you're into and like what you like from this kind of genre, but I liked it. Okay, I'm going to now finally have some coffee and breakfast, and yeah, we'll see what's next. In terms of where I'm at right now, I'm 35% into the audiobook of The Drowning Kind. I listen at 2 times speed, so I have a little less than 4 actual hours of listening time left. And then I need to start The Lost Village, and that will be all the books that I planned on getting to. I do not usually get through stuff this quickly because I don't usually spend this much of my time reading, but it's kind of nice to bust through some stuff, and hopefully it's interesting for you all and give you some idea of what you may want to pick up. Hello. I am here for another update on how the reading is progressing. I did end up listening to some more of the audiobook for The Drowning Kind, and I have about an hour left to listen to, so I'm like 80% of the way through it. I am enjoying it. It's definitely a slower paced book that's more atmospheric and slowly building the story. It seems to be dealing a lot with grief and mental health issues, but then there's also this kind of I don't know, supernatural, creepy element to it as well. And I'm really curious to see what she does with the ending. I can't decide like how I feel about it overall. Like I'm enjoying the story, but I'm also a little bit nervous about like what she's gonna do with the ending and what that's gonna say about mental health. I don't know. So we'll see. It is definitely interesting. Yeah. So we'll see. I'll kind of update you guys. I feel like this is a book where I'm not going to know for sure what I would want to rate it or how exactly I feel about it until I get to the end of it. So I'm like, I'm holding judgment on that. I did also go ahead and start the e-arc of the final book for this vlog, The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. Also, I checked and it was originally translated from Swedish. I think I said German early in the video. That is not correct. It was translated from Swedish, and I am about 13% of the way into that one. So far, I'm liking it. It's very intriguing. It is another one that has a little bit of a mixed media element to it. Not a lot, but some. And we're also dealing with multiple timelines. It's another one too where I'm kind of like waiting to see how it handles a couple of issues, because I'm like, this could be interesting or this could be bad depending on how they decide to approach it. And basically the main character is a woman who wants to make a documentary about this village in Sweden where in like 1959 the entire village mysteriously disappeared. Only a baby was found left alive. And we're slowly starting to learn a bit of information, but there was also a murder of a woman who was in some ways mentally disabled. And anyway, like it's complicated. So we're getting some stories from the past in the village. We're getting the current day where they've taken a trip to this village that has basically just been sitting there with buildings decaying for 60 years or whatever, to basically film a trailer showing what they want to do for the full-length documentary to get their Kickstarter going. And yeah, it's definitely spooky. It's very interesting. I'm super intrigued and excited to see where it goes. But at the same time, the fact that we have this character who is mentally disabled and they're suggesting, well, we don't know, like maybe she was autistic, maybe it was a genetic thing, but they don't really know because she lived obviously prior to a lot of those diagnoses really happening. But we do know that she couldn't speak, she couldn't really care for herself, and I think things are gonna go poorly, obviously. I mean, she ends up murdered. So yeah, it's an interesting setup. The writing I think is really good. It's very descriptive, very atmospheric. I feel like I can see this village, and I'm just curious to see where it's gonna go and what it's gonna do. So there you go. That is an update on the reading. I need to go grocery shopping. I know I went and picked up a couple things at like the corner grocery store last night, but I need to do like a full grocery shopping trip for the week, which will probably take about the amount of time that I need to finish up the audiobook of The Drowning Kind. So my plan is to head off and do that, go grocery shopping, finish up this audiobook, and then I'll check back in with you guys. You can hear my kids in the background, like excuse the noise, but it's a Wednesday, and Wednesday nights are at home date night with my husband, so I will not be doing as much reading tonight as I did last night, which is fine. I may make a little bit more progress on the e-arc at some point, but probably this is a vlog that's going to take a couple days to finish, because with our schedule tomorrow, my kids are home and I'm with them most of the day. So I will update you guys once I finish The Drowning Kind and let you know how it goes. And yeah, so far this is going well. And honestly, I'm also pretty pleased at how quickly I'm knocking out these books. So, okay, one quick thing before I go. I actually had a package come in the mail that was unexpected. I think it's a gift, and so I thought I would share. It's very exciting. This is very, very sweet. I think I'm gonna have to message her to confirm, but I think this is from Isabel from Happy for Now. I'll let you guys know for sure if this is who it's from, but I think it's from her, and if so, this is super sweet and totally not expected. It says, "Congrats on 10K. I had to pick a romance and one of the nonfictions I'm really excited to read this year. So happy to have you as a booktube friend." Oh, it's so sweet. So I'm guessing it's probably Izzy from Happy for Now. It says from Isabel. Guys, I'm so excited. This is awesome. These are both books that I have really been wanting to read, so yay. Okay, so for the romance, she's mostly a romance tuber, but I am super excited about this. I recently just put this on my wish list actually because I've never read anything from Amanda Boucher before, and apparently she's really good for fantasy romance. This is A Promise of Fire, which is the first book in the Kingmaker Chronicles. Also, like, the girl on the cover, I love it. She's such a badass. Yeah, I hear very, very good things about her stuff, so I am excited to give this a try. And then she sent this nonfiction book that, again, I've heard really good things about. I heard a lot of this from, oh, okay, she literally just messaged me to confirm. Yes, it was Izzy. Thank you, Izzy. This is so sweet of you. Thank you. Oh, man. Okay, that's so cool. So this is a book that I originally heard about from Books and Lala, and I've heard some other people talk about it. It's a nonfiction book called Disfigured on Fairy Tales, Disability, and Making Space by Amanda Leduc. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, this sounded super, super interesting, talking about the way that people with disabilities are often posed as like villains in traditional fairy tales and the problems with that. So yeah, super, super excited. Thank you, Izzy. This is so sweet of you. Oh my gosh. Yay. Anyway, okay, now I'm really gonna go grocery shopping. Bye. Okay, well, just finished The Drowning Kind. That was an ending. It was interesting. I was not sure where it was gonna go with the ending. So interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, it's definitely a creepy story. It's a slow burn. It's pretty character driven. It's a lot about families and complicated relationships and mental health and like having loved ones with mental health issues and grief. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was definitely creepy. Okay, cool. So I don't know how much more reading I'm going to actually do tonight, but I am very pleased. 3 out of 4 books are done, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Hello, everybody. So it is afternoon. I told you my Thursday was going to be busy. I think I said that. Yeah, it was with the kids most of the day, and now I've got to like go do some errands. I have been reading some more of the e-arc of The Lost Village, and oh my gosh, it's so good and so creepy. I'm really into it. I'm 60% of the way through, and I feel like I'm probably going to finish it up tonight. So I'll let you guys know what I think when I'm done, but like the eeriness, the creep factor, like if this was a horror movie, I would be like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, it's really good. It's so smart the way it's written. And what's interesting about it too is you've got this like unknown horror creep factor where like there might be something paranormal happening, but also there's like issues with the people who are there. There's stuff about the past, there's interpersonal relationships, and so it all kind of comes together in this like very unsettling story, and I am into it. So yeah, that is going well. I will probably do another update whenever I finish this last e-arc. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I just finished The Lost Village. This book, you guys, easily 5 stars for me. It's so good. I can't really talk much about it without spoilers, but like, it's creepy and atmospheric and disturbing, and the ending, what? Wow. Okay, it was very, very good. There's gonna be lots of content warnings for it. Some of them are spoilery. Shoot, though, that was intense. Like last night, I had to stop before I could go to sleep and like read something later, like a romance in between, just because it was so intense. Oh my gosh. It's really good though. It's really good. Goodreads is always linked down below. I'll write a review. I'll put whatever the content warnings are there if you need them. Man, that was intense though. Okay, so I did it. It's pretty late, so I need to get ready for bed, but it's pretty late Thursday night. We read the 4 ARCs. Hands down, Lost Village was my favorite of them. It was, wow, really good, really creepy. Highly recommend. Okay, I wanted to pop in with a couple of other thoughts because as I was filming this clip, I had literally just finished The Lost Village. I mean, you can kind of tell, right? It like blew my mind, and I was still just trying to figure out what happened at, 11:30 at night. So let's talk a little bit about the books. I am really happy with how this project went. All of them were books that I enjoyed on some level. The Conductors had some issues, which we did talk about, but there was still a lot that I liked about it, and I particularly enjoyed the final, like, 40% or so of the book, and I did give that one 3 stars. I think my next one is The Drowning Kind. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I'm gonna write my review after I'm finished with editing this video for you guys to see, but I think I'm gonna probably hit 4 stars with The Drowning Kind. I did like it. It's a quieter book. It's more of a slow burn. It didn't go, I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but like the direction it took was not what I was expecting. I liked a lot of what it was trying to do. There were a couple of plot threads that never really got addressed adequately for me. Like there's a side character, for instance, who is one of the main character's clients. She's a social worker who works with kids with psychological disorders. And there's this whole side plot with one of her patients that never gets fully resolved, and I feel like it's kind of used more. I don't want to say too much about how it's used, but I didn't love the way that character was used in the story. So I don't know, like there were a few things that I was like, I feel like this maybe could have been better. I do know going in that it is kind of intense. It does have content warnings for things like depression, self-harm, other mental health things, suicidal ideation, addiction. Like it just kind of runs the gamut. But I don't think it does it all terribly. Like sometimes you read these sorts of thrillers and it just is kind of gross. And I didn't feel that way about this, although there were a few things I thought could have been handled a little bit better. So 4 stars. Our Last Echoes, again, they're spoilery, so check the Goodreads review if you need content warnings, but I did really, really like this one. It verges more into paranormal horror, I would say. So whatever that tells you about the type of content that's in there, it does get intense at times. It's definitely creepy, but I loved it. And that one I gave 4.5 stars. And then The Lost Village. Oh my God, I loved it so much. It might end up being one of my favorite books of the year. And I think I said earlier in the vlog, I was nervous about how they were going to handle this side character who was mentally disabled. And I don't know, I could see people having mixed feelings about it. I liked it because while she is a victim, I think a lot of what it's trying to do is show the horror and the tragedy of the mistreatment of people and the dehumanization of people with mental health issues that's happened in the past, and also the abuse that can sometimes take place in those scenarios, and also the way that misogyny and religious abuse can tie into it. It's doing a lot of things that I found to be really interesting, and it also just creeped me the hell out. So Anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that in there before I do my final goodbye because I was like not in the right headspace to be talking coherently about these books when I filmed that last clip. Like, what do I have to say to end this out? Gosh, I'm still like processing processing all the ending and like everything that happened. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think this was great. Definitely a success. I'm gonna read some lighter books now. Not on this video, but just because this has been intense. If I was going to rank them from least favorite to most favorite, although all of them were good, like I liked all of them for one reason or another, but we would go Conductors, The Drowning Kind, Our Last Echoes, and The Last Village is definitely my favorite of the four. So yeah. Hopefully this was interesting, helpful, maybe will help some of you guys decide if these are books that you want to pick up. Everybody's taste in this kind of stuff I feel like is pretty different, but I suspect that The Last Village is going to be a big hit, and oh my god, if they made it into a movie, it would be so creepy. It was very well done. So talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And let me know if you are interested in any of the books that I read, which of them you would want to read if they sound up your alley. And also let me know if this is something that you would be interested in seeing me do again in the future. Like, this was kind of a cool way to get to a selection of arcs that I had to read. If this is something that would be of interest, maybe I will do it again. Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah. Question of the day. Tell me about a creepy book that you've read that you were really into. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want to support the work of the channel, check out the Patreon linked down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.